Yo, what's up, good people? It's your girl Mia. Jesus is showing out, so the doctor is in. Hello, hello, hello. So, I just had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine. I was going to turn this light on, but whatever. And one of the words that she mentioned that kind of had my wheels going was that because I feel like a lot of things that I went through growing up, I wasn't built for while I was going through it, that I became built to properly deal with it growing up. She said it was a bit ungrateful, like it was always ungrateful to God by saying that He didn't build me for what I went through. And I had to sit with that for a minute. I had to sit with it because the way I handle situations now is not how I handled it growing up. And until like the last few years, excuse me, of my life, I want to say maybe the last three, where the Lord has been training me on how to deal with that type of stuff. I had no idea that that was a way to deal with it. So I think her and I are both right, kind of, sort of. I was not, let's just say, I didn't have, I had the heart and mind to sustain myself or to, not sustain, what's the word? I had the heart and mind to endure what I went through, but not without some type of negative impact. My perception of what I was going through as a kid was flawed, right? I knew nothing about train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they would not depart from it. I knew nothing about none of that stuff while I was going through it. I wasn't thinking about none of that stuff while I was going through it. I was just going through it. You feel me? But again, when I got older, and a friend of mine, well, she wasn't a friend at the time. I was on a fellowship call with a bunch of sisters, and we were just kind of, you know, having a discussion. And she reached out to me. Never met this woman in person in my life, okay? Yeah, this is one of them rambling videos. So if you don't like to hear me ramble, just scroll. But excuse me, I just burped right into the mic, my bad. But the sister reached out to me and she was like, I'm looking for a teacher. And I'm like, I teach language arts. But then she was like, no, not that kind of teacher. Like, like one of the teachers, like the gifts in the Bible. I'm like, there's gifts? Bro, what? Right? So I'm reading and I'm like, there's gifts in the Bible. Romans 12. I think it's First and Second Corinthians. Google it. You'll find it in Ephesians. They all up and through that thing. You know what I'm saying? So now that's when I feel like I got the chosen call, right? And that's when I started to really dive into that Proverbs 6. And I really started studying those things, right? Studying them because I wanted to teach them, right? And then it was kind of like, now I understand why God had her call me and say He was looking for a teacher. So, long story short, I was really the ungrateful thing that she stated. Let me know one thing about myself that I think whoever this is for, this may trigger you a little bit, and if it does, you need to sit in that and figure out what the root is, because I'm still trying to find my root. The reason she said ungrateful is because I'm still viewing my upbringing as from the wrong perspective. I'm still viewing something wrong. I'm still looking at something the wrong way. And I know I just did a video the other day talking about because I'm not where I want to be yet. I still shouldn't be uncomfortable when people say certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't get uncomfortable with compliments. I shouldn't get uncomfortable when I'm challenged about how I view things. Because again, another friend of mine said, because I asked her for the event that's coming up with the nice t-shirts. Shout out to Brittany, for the overcoming them to get closer to Him. I asked, of my friend of 28 years to eulogize me. And she's like, I will not eulogize you. Like, I'll honor you because that person made it through it. That person got to this point. That person, da da da, skipping. And I'm like, that triggered me because it's like, I never looked at who I was growing up, who had to endure what I endured, as strong because of what came from why I had to have strength. I guess because to me, that doesn't look like strength to me. Now I can see the strength that I have, and I know it came from going through all of that, but I don't see me as being strong then because I gave in to my flesh, because so much damage was done to this, right? Whoopings, abuse, promiscuity, all kind of stuff. So much damage was done to this by me and other people that I did things with this to myself and other people that made me look at that person as weak, right? And it's like, how do I shift that perspective, right? Well, I know one thing is going back through it. And again, this is not a promo because I promise y'all, I only publish these books because the Lord walked me through this process to get me where I'm at. But I got these for me so I can reread them because I haven't reread them in a while. And I think I need to remind myself of how I got to this point because I honestly don't feel like I remember what got me to this point. I feel like 3 years ago, I was still very much stuck in that weakened state of believing that I could be no better than I was at that time. And I feel like a part of my brain is still stuck there. A part of my brain is still stuck at that I'm not ever going to get to a space where I am where I desire to be. And I know where I desire to be. And maybe saying it out loud to help me get closer to that. I desire to build a school. I don't know, I've said this so many times, but I just can't get no rest from it. Like, I just can't get no rest. I don't care how many different things I try. I do live speaking events. I've written books. You know what I'm saying? I do women's retreats. I do all kind of, I cook. Baby, and it don't give me nothing on the inside. Then I go back in the classroom and it'll get a little something. I get a little bit. I'll be like, okay. And then I start seeing that stuff I don't like. And now we back at the frustration. Now we back at what the HE double hockey sticks is going on. I don't like none of this. Why are you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? Then I get to doing all that, right? And then he's like, then I feel like God tell me every time, what you're looking for, you're not going to find it unless you build it. And then the fear comes in. Because every time I've tried to build a school, bow, I get slapped down and I'll be devastated for a long time. I'll be devastated. And I need to get to a point where I'm no longer expecting not to get to that point. I need to get to a point where I'm not still telling myself that I'm weak, because through all, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'm 100% now. I'm 100% sure that he strengthens me. Because he's done it over these 40 years. I'm definitely all day strong, all day long. All glory to God. But I also got to understand that it also says anything you ask through prayer, he will give you if you fear him, serve him, and love him. And I do all three. So it's me that's telling me that I know it's possible. And I got to get that out of here and here so I can get to where I want to be. To be continued. Love y'all. Peace.